Every time you pick up a moisturizer or a clean beauty serum, there is a story behind it. Not the influencer on your feed, not the chemist in the lab, but women, real women, doing all the hard work that makes all the natural beauty trends possible. But here's the twist, they're almost never seen, rarely heard, and barely benefited. But today we are changing that. I'm talking to Neha, a gender supply chain expert, to uncover the hidden role of women producers in the beauty industry and what real empowerment looks like when you go beyond the label.
Hey Neha, hi. Nice to have you here for the first podcast for Right Above the Earth.
Hi Arjun, thanks for having me here, and it's absolutely a pleasure to have this conversation with you.
So Neha, you're a gender expert, and the first question that comes to my mind: why women? Why should the beauty industry focus on women?
See, Arjun, beauty industry and all these companies are so much dependent on women because the first and foremost important for any company, for any organization which is market based, is the customer. And for beauty industry, it has always been and it is still women who are their major customers. I mean, I agree that nowadays even there are products for men, but still the decisions on these beauty products are majorly made by women in the household. So, I mean, from any companies or profit making organization side, their customers are very important. And so, women are and should be the first priority for the beauty industry and the companies in the industry. I mean, if we go a little further and see their source, their sourcing, from where are they sourcing the ingredients which goes into making these amazing beauty products, are where again there's a lot of women. These women are hidden because obviously they are not the ones which would be there in the market and which people would know so much on where are the produced source from. But for example, shea or for palm oil, any of these products which is sourced from women farmers, there's a lot of women working in that sector. So both from the customer side and from producer side of the ingredients, women are really important to the beauty industry.
Thanks, Neha. That was a very interesting point, and glad that you brought this up. That the two sides I see. There's one, the customer angle that is there. That's a huge segment. Beauty industry is focusing majorly on the women, and you see the demographics also. I mean, about 90%, 80 to 90% of the customer base is made out of women, but many people forget about this part that there are women at the source which are working with the beauty industry. So I just want to ask you on this. How are women involved in making beauty ingredients?
So basically, if we talk about beauty ingredients, Arjun, it is mostly these agriculture-based products. For example, shea or palm oil. All of this is sourced from certain geography where this agriculture produce is being produced. Now, if we go in the production level, we would always find that there's a lot of women involved in agriculture, and this percentage is only increasing. So, women's involvement in agriculture is increasing at a very increasing rate. So that's how I would want to say that this is how women are helping, or women are the ones which are growing these ingredients for the beauty industry to survive, and that's how the contribution of women are in the production of these products.
If you're serious about choosing beauty that actually does good, grab the free resources I've linked below in the description. It'll help you save money by choosing brands which are sustainable. Totally free, just enter your email ID and start on your sustainable beauty journey right away.
Okay, yes, that makes sense. But is there any way they are organized? I mean, we keep hearing about cooperatives and producer groups. I'm pretty sure that you have worked with a lot of these cooperatives, and many people don't know how they function. Are they companies? Are they just NGOs? Or they're just a group of women who have formed, which is then interacting with the market, with the people? Just if you can explain, how do they organize themselves? How do they do the interaction with these beauty companies or any other companies for that matter of sake? How do they organize? How do they interact?
So, if we get into the details of how this is being sourced from women farmers or how this kind of work is being sustained, I would start with one of the social norms basically, which is why certain cooperatives or FPOs or SHGs or these collectives are to be made so that is sourced from women. The women are the ones getting engaged in agriculture on one side, but the land holding is not in their names. So they're not entitled to land. Only 12% of women in the world have land holdings, which means if we go ahead and start sourcing individually from women, it is almost impossible because there is no way of contracting with women then. So the next alternative, which has been used by a lot of companies and NGOs and whatever. But I mean, it's not limited to just market, but other ways as well. Is that collectivize these women, and then that collective can have a formal contract. So for contracting mechanism, it is very important to have these collectives. Now it can be cooperative, it can be FPO. It doesn't matter. The difference is only the governance mechanism, the kind of work that they can do. But the idea of having this entity which can have a contract on behalf of these women is exactly what is driving the whole system forward.
So, in a way, beauty companies then get in touch with these cooperatives. And please feel free to interject if I'm going it wrong anywhere. They get in touch with these cooperatives and then they work together, right? Is that the way this works?
Yes, so it can be multiple ways. So one of the ways, of course, what you said, that there are cooperatives and they're already working on certain things. So these companies can reach out to cooperatives or reach out to certain organizations who are working with the cooperatives and form a contract of working with these women farmers. The other way around is where these cooperatives or these collectives, or to say community-based organizations, are not formed. There, the first step might be to invest in first making these community-based organizations, and then building their capacities on agriculture practices, on sustainable practices, or say regenerative practices, and then work with women to develop their capacities and agency, and together they grow. So then these women would be exactly knowing what is the requirement of the company, what is the requirement of the market, and grow accordingly in sync with their requirements. So it's a win-win situation there. So there can be a lot of ways. There can be already existing cooperatives or community-based organizations. There can be new ones which can be created. The idea is to have these collectives.
And are these for specific products? I mean, there are a lot of ingredients which are considered to be exotic. And I believe there are a lot of cooperatives also which are existing to produce those kind of ingredients which are then used in different beauty products. Would you have some examples of companies where they are engaging with cooperatives, where they're working with them to source some of these ingredients for their own products?
Oh yes, of course. There's a lot of work being done, Arjun. Thankfully, I mean, I would not say that it's enough or it's all done, but a lot of things are being done, and let us hold on to those positive things that is being done and see how it can increase. So, for example, there are companies like there are brands like L'Occitane, or there is Body Shop, or there is Estee Lauder. There is a lot of companies who are working. For example, L'Occitane is working with around 10,000 women farmers, with women producers, and sourcing shea butter from these African women producers. And it is being done in a very structured way. So these women, if you are able to speak to them, or if you are able to capture the empowerment journey that they have traveled, is quite an amazing one. So, for example, we do a lot of work in palm, and palm oil is again an ingredient which is being sourced by most of the beauty companies. So, if these women are empowered and these companies are working with these women farmers, which means that they are empowering women, they are empowering from where they source. So, yes, there is a lot of positive stories from different companies where they source different ingredients.
That's right. And Neha, I hope you have seen the previous video that we have created on this channel. It was a ranking system that we formulated for the top 5 brands that are empowering women.
But I think it's a good start. I mean, it's an amazing start because I don't think anybody's ranking these companies on how inclusive they are, especially if we talk about gender inclusion. It's high time somebody should start, marking companies on which ones are the best and which one needs to pull up their socks. So yeah, I think it's a very amazingly placed system, and I mean the ranking system, and would like to see more on it further. What happens next?
Surely, we'll be demystifying some other segments of the beauty industry also. Just wanted to ask, since you mentioned palm oil, I know that the supply chain is very complex, and I would like you to shed more light on how women in palm are being empowered? What are the ways and mechanisms by which companies interact with these women? Are there any women cooperatives in palm oil which are out there in Indonesia, Malaysia, or any other surplus palm producing countries? What is the way?
That's a very complicated one, I must say. Huh?
Oh, just
So I'll give it my best shot. Let's see. So yes, palm supply chain is a little complicated, and because it's mostly an export import business for these beauty companies or industry, so it becomes even more complicated with these certification agencies coming into play. Now let's try to understand how it works right now. So there are these processors. Processors source their palm from the oil from their aggregators. These aggregators source it from different cooperatives, right? And we need a certification for the whole thing to be certified and exportable to the European market or these companies. Most of these are in either Europe or US. So they need to import from there. So there is a certification system. Now, if we want to have direct investment in source, the companies needs to invest in the cooperatives and not just these aggregators or the processing mill, because it would not reach to the women farmers as it is very far away in their supply chain. So these cooperatives are where the farmers are, and where, if investment made, can bring a lot of change in the lives of women who are into the production system of palm oil. And there are a few cases where few of these companies are sourcing from the palm geography. But to be really honest, on investment in the cooperatives or at the level where it should be invested, it's a very small investment which is being done right now compared to other ingredients like shea or other ingredients. So, like palm, castor, these would need even more investment from the beauty industry.
yeah, I do get your point, and it's you're very clear about this. But there's this question since you mentioned certifications also, and I mean, Palm also has a certification, if I'm not wrong, the RSPO, the ISPO standards. Then we have different certifications also, like fair trade, organic certification. And most of these beauty brands, which are working with women farmers, do have it pasted on their products as labels, fair trade certified, organic certified. A palm oil product would actually carry an RSPO certification. So, in that way, does it mean that fair trade, organic, or RSPO are giving a fair share of the money for a women producer?
I'm so thankful you asked that question to me, Arjun. That's really close to my heart. So, if I would want to put it in one sentence, is ethical beauty is not just clean ingredients, and it doesn't mean that the supply chain has been really fair. So, to exemplify it, if if we see the certification system, it is majorly certifying on how clean the product has been, how sustainably it has been produced, but how inclusive is a question mark. Whether the women farmers' needs were taken care of, it's nowhere mentioned. It's not there in the systems. So we can ensure through these certifications and these marks that we see on the beauty products that yes, environmentally sustainable. Yes, the money has reached the household, but in real sense, whether it was inclusive or not, no, we cannot make out through those certifications. And mostly, the certifications and the market systems are really failing to reach out to women farmers and investing in the real source. So yes, if that's what you were asking, if I need to add something, you can just let me know.
Sure, I mean, you're absolutely right on that part. That's true. I mean, if a cream costs about $30, the woman growing that ingredients only gets about $1 or something. I think what calculation would it be? But that would be kind of a zero point 0.3 or 0.4 percentage of a share.
Yeah, if you're talking about $1 of $25, then yes, it is 0.04%.
0.04%. Is that fair?
So if we see an entire supply chain, and there has been some of the studies showing how the supply chain has not been fair. The whole fair trade movement has been across this, right? So what I feel is that the supply chain is not fair, and the worst is what the farmers get, and even further worse is what women get, because women do not really get anything. So 1.04% is not at all justifiable by any standards if the cost of a cream is say $25. And furthermore, if it is not even reaching to the right hands, it is not fair and it is not inclusive. So it is neither of the two.
That's that's quite devastating to know. I didn't realize that fair trade would have so much of issues in this current age that we are living in. Many people tend to think that fair trade means that automatically when they buy a fair trade labeled product or an organic certified product, the people who are growing behind that, the people behind that product are getting the due share, are getting the due money for growing it. But I mean, this breakdown has really opened my eyes.
I mean, we can see it in a different light also, because fair trade or any of these certifications and um, other systems were not developed entirely to take care of the needs of women, but to see how market systems are failing to reach to farmers or other marginalized section of fair in the trade system. So to an extent, yes, they have worked and they have worked well. We should not deny that. But on the other side, now things, when we can see things in a different light, and we can see that there is a section of people, and that section is quite a big section, because women would, I'm sure, constitute 50% of that section, has been I don't want to use the word discriminated, but marginalized, yes. So it's a right and the best time to maybe rectify the system and see how that can be changed and made better, so that the purpose for which it started, the whole system, the purpose, it should not fail. It should become better, and it should become more inclusive and holistic. So I would see in it in this way, that it's high time that these systems, certifications, fair trade, all of it should go in a um, maybe rethink themselves and grow again and come again with a redesigned process.
Yeah, Neha, I mean, you worked across the Asia Pacific and Africa as a gender expert, and you've consistently been interacting with women from all these continents, countries, and geographies. Uh, what is the one thing that these beauty companies need to change if they want to support women fairly?
One thing, okay. Um, I think they should start investing more in their source, which is these women farmers, is what I would want them to change. And which means that they should start working towards their sourcing mechanism by saying, say, certain percentage of their sourcing would be only if grown by women. It can be 25% to start with. Um, Second, can be the investment can be on the capacity building of and agency development of these women farmers through cooperatives, through any of these community-based organizations. And third can be giving the recognition of farmers to these women farmers by paying them directly and not through any other mechanism. So once they start paying to these women directly in their account, they would realize their own potential. So these are the three things on which investment should happen by these companies, and investing in their source would be a strategic move for them as well. When I say this, I mean I know I'm getting into a bit of elaboration, but maybe I just wanted to put across a few points. So by investing, I mean it's not a grant, because it is investing in source, right? So if they're investing in their source, there are a lot many cases where I have seen and I have also personally worked, and we have impact reports showing that if you invest in your source, which is these women farmers, it would result in one consistent supply, because generally these women farmers are more loyal towards whatever supply chain they get connected to. So consistency is one thing that the brands or the companies can expect. Second is the quality of products would improve, because as of now the investments are being made with the farmers. But the point is, if you're not training the person who is really implementing it, it is a secondary level of information that she's getting. So obviously, the whole training is not resulting into implementation, or it is not transcending into the way it should have been. So second is the quality of produce increases, and third, automatically the quantity increases. So if you have better quantity, better quality, and consistency of the produce that you want, is something that any company or market would look up to. So it is, that's why I call it an investment. And if coming back to your main question, which is what is that one thing that you would want the companies to do, is that invest in their source, which is the women farmers.
That's so true. I totally agree with you. I know a lot of these brands do have that. They do amplify themselves. They try to bring in a narrative in which they show that they are working at a very inclusive level with the source. And that source includes women. Because these women who have been historically marginalized, who have been exploited, who don't have access to resources, they are now suddenly entering into a territory where they are now becoming business owners. Is that right?
Correct, correct, correct. Yeah, there are success stories for sure. I mean, and that is why we are so confident in saying that they should invest in the source. Because if there is no success stories, investment can't happen. So yes, there are success stories, but if we see how much percentage of sourcing is being done by these women farmers, so if we see company supply chain and what percentage of the sourcing had been done, would really tell you the exact stories. So I don't have an access to all the data, but I'm sure if the companies want, they can do an analysis of their own supply chain and see how inclusive have they been, and they're free to choose how the investment can be made.
Yeah, that's so true. I totally agree with you. Neha, there's one question that bugs me, and we've been speaking about the source, the business, and the marketing. That's all fine. But at the end of the day, it is the consumer who's really buying a product. Is there any way, a simple cheat sheet a consumer can use to identify a beauty product which is having women at source behind it?
Very, very well put question, Arjun, because I also have been thinking a lot about it, and I think consumer has a big role to play, and they always had a role to play. If we talk about fair trade, or if we talk about any of these sustainability mechanisms as well, consumer always had a role to play, because customer and consumer are the king for market, right? So kings and queens. So if we see in the beauty products case, what can be done? I mean, top of my mind thinking would be at least the way you put these hallmarks of different sustainability certifications. Can there be, say, even a QR code? When you scan that, you can see the success story of women farmer from where these ingredients were sourced. So that can be a very humble start to start with. Can we see from where it was sourced? Can we have faces behind these products and ingredients? So that can be what consumer can be demanding, and it's not a big demand to have. To start with, yes, it needs a bit more of deliberation and thoughts to understand what can be the demand from the market.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a game changer if people can actually see a story just by scanning a code. And I think a lot of these FMCG products and FMCG companies are doing, they do have a QR code in which you can scan and then you can actually see from farm to fork, those kind of, taglines being used. So we need that for beauty also, probably.
So I mean, in a lot of products you will see, but this is traceability of traceability in the sense of how sustainable the product has been environmentally, or even if we talk socially, it is about resilience of the community. But none of these traceability is about specifically women and who really had worked so hard on producing these ingredients. So if the beauty industry should be doing, I mean, should be held responsible the most because their biggest customer segment is women. So if we see that there's a lot of traceability mechanism, why not traceability mechanism of how much gender inclusive has the product been? And to start with, it can start showing the success stories of women who wear the faces of women who wear at the source, and it can go beyond on showing then again what percentage of the product has been sourced from women farmers, or what percentage of the product has been inclusive enough. So these are some of the traceability mechanisms which can be game changer for women farmers and for you know um, a different kind of traceability mechanism beyond sustainability actually.
So, Neha, you worked closely with women at the grassroots, at the village level. in different geographies, Africa, Indonesia, Malaysia, Myanmar, Bangladesh, all these places. Can you tell a personal anecdote from your life where you've closely seen a woman that is overcoming her struggles and is leading change?
I mean, to be really honest, there is a lots and lots of stories, and there's a lots of changes that I have seen happening, and it would be so interesting and fulfilling to see how market can act as a lever to bring in these changes and empowerment at individual household and in the lives of women. And I've seen this happening in lots of commodities, lots of projects. So because we're talking about beauty industry, I think it would be better if I could give a story from the palm oil project that we are doing. And just for the sake of, because I have not taken any uh, prior approvals, I would not name the person, but yes, I can obviously narrate the story. So we have these cooperatives where we are working with the palm oil farmers, and most of the cooperatives have all men, and while women are working in the palm oil plantations, but they're not there on the cooperatives, which made us realize that there can be structural issues. So we started working with the women in the community, and we started training them on various aspects, including gender. So there are certain core gender aspects. Why are they not in certain places, and why are they restricted to some places? And then financial inclusions, digital inclusions. So these are some of the core trainings that we started having with the women in the community, and the changes that we saw uh, are humongous. So for this particular person I'm talking about, she, after getting trained, got so motivated and so moved that she started working with her husband in the palm plantation, and also started going to the trainings on good agriculture practices, which is not something which can be seen regularly, that women would go ahead and participate in core agriculture activities there. So she started receiving those trainings. She started moving towards better agriculture practices because a lot of that was being done by her. While she was doing all this, she also realized that she is not part of the market. So she then wanted to become part of the market, and she wanted to, have that economic independence. So then she went to the cooperative, and not just joined the cooperative, also joined as a staff of the cooperative. So now she receives salary from the cooperative. She is a farmer registered at the cooperative, and she goes around talking about her story to the other women. So now she has become also the role model for the community, and all of this happened just in the period of 1.5 years time, which is not a very long period if we talk about this kind of empowerment. So if we talk about how empowering the interventions from market can be, because it is economically sustainable, because it is something which can be there even after uh, whoever is working with them on the journey is not there. It is already connected to the market, which can sustain it. It becomes something which remains forever. So once empowered, she will always be empowered. Empowerment is something which can't go back. So yes, back to the story, this woman now is more connected. She is economically more resilient. She knows better way of farming. She has better agency and has become a role model for the community.
And for many of our audiences who do not know this, uh, the palm oil that is being produced by these women farmers might be going into lipsticks, serums, conditioners, shampoos, and so many other products. And the biggest companies in the world, the biggest beauty brands, be it Estee Lauder, be it L'Oreal, be it Unilever, they are closely working with these palm plantations. Am I right, Neha?
Yes, of course, of course. All the sourcing is done through these, cooperatives and the plantation that we're talking about.
And on this note, I would thank you, Neha, for joining me, giving your crucial and critical time. Thank you so much. And we hope to see you again.
It is absolutely my pleasure, Arjun, and would love to have any time this kind of conversation. I mean, it's always encouraging, and it only gives me more energy to work further. So thank you so much for having me here, and all the best to you for whatever work you're doing.
Thank you, Neha. And all the best for all the women empowerment.
Thank you.
If this video opened your eyes, then do hit a like on it, share it with your friends, family, and colleagues. And of course, hit a subscribe if you want to join me on this journey of beauty, truth, and responsibility.